and welcome to another Wargame Airland battle. Today we're playing Copenhagen, a nice big map with a big central town covering 4 regions and a route up the left and a route up the right. I'm playing the British deck, starting off with a couple of track rapiers and a CV that I'm sending over to the left to Charlie, and I'm just going to send a Gazelle, Lynx Tow 2 and a couple of anti-tank gun infantry squads in choppers over towards Bravo to try and hassle the troops, or hassle the enemy rather, at the beginning of the game. Private Ryan's got a mixed NATO deck and he'll be heading forwards towards Foxtrot with a whole bunch of infantry, a couple of starships and some nice anti-air. Chipper son, never played with him, but he'll be heading towards India with another mixed NATO deck, a bunch of infantry, again some nice anti-air, mixture of radar, non-radar, and even a Challenger heading up there, and he's also pushing a few units by the looks of it around to the right hand side here. And then last but not least we've got Smith HU, who again another mixed NATO deck. Bit predictable these guys, but he'll be sending his to Kilo, try to secure Kilo and hopefully push up towards Juliet. So let's get the game and get it down. I'm going to do it one time to start with because it's quite hectic at the start of this game. So we're off. Immediately they place a CV. Clearly they've placed it in this bush here because it placed immediately, and they're sending some chopper infantry in, some airborne infantry in at the start. Also, I spot these choppers coming in, a lot of choppers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 choppers and a couple of escort choppers by the looks of it, and I back off because the only thing I've got that can shoot back are these 4 Lynx. These Gazelles and Lynx Tow 2s can't fire back at these choppers at all, so I have to basically retreat and do a runner, and they are actually Sokols, so they would have destroyed these if I'd kept going forwards for any amount of time. If I withdraw these back, I can use them again at another time. So always know what you're coming up against, and if it's too much, just pull back just briefly, adjust and then push forward again. Get my rover CV in, push my track rapier forward to try and engage these choppers and bring out a bit more anti-air very shortly. There's 3 Falcons coming out there. In the meantime, the middle has been, well, shall we say consolidated. There's a bit of napalm action going down there, but you can see that Private Ryan and Chipper Son have put a whole load of infantry in there. So we're looking good at least to hold Foxtrot in India. And Smith has got Kilo and he's pushing up towards Juliet and the small town on the right, left on the right there. So my track rapiers are shooting at these infantry choppers, which for some reason he's pushed forward. Why he pushed them forward I don't know. Perhaps he was hoping to snipe my CV quickly, or he just wanted me to use up my anti-air missiles. I don't know, but basically this is conquest, so it doesn't really matter if you lose some low point units, and often you do push up your cheap units once they've served their purpose, shall we say, to use up your enemy's logistics. Managed to bring these Falcons in though, and they finish off these Mi-2Ts. Bring in some more track rapiers, and I'm also starting to bring in some infantry and these cheap Pinsgauers to start to build up for what I know will be a tough job to remove all his infantry, which are now in this building and also some in this building as well. So it's going to be a tough job pushing through that lot. I could try and go around, I could try and go up the side, but I think this guy's a fairly good player and I'm sure he'll be ready for that. So I've got some infantry there, I've got some ATGMs unloaded which I'll shortly push forward. I'm bringing in some Scorpion-like tanks, 1 to support my infantry push when it comes, and 2 to prevent them pushing their infantry out of these buildings and down. Again, the Pinsgauers worth 1 point each. I will push them forward so they use their ATGMs. This is conquest. And we've got about half the map. In fact, they have got Bravo, so they are already slightly in the lead and have a 1-point advantage on us at the moment. In the centre, boys are doing good. You can see they're just over the halfway mark here, although these commandozis are also encroaching into Private Ryan's, shall we say, territory as well. Well, he's bringing more infantry up. They're never going to push through all these infantry anytime soon, so looks like that battle is going to go on for a little bit of time yet. And on the, oh, did I just see a plane coming over? Yeah, we've got a MiG-17 coming in here. Now what that's aiming for I'm not sure, but I've got plenty of anti-air here now. I think it's going for the Lynx TOW 2. Indeed it is, but it hits the Falcons and it hits the track rapiers and goes down like a sack of potatoes. I bring in a couple of Lynx with recon infantry in, and I'm going to push these up the side just to see if he's on his toes and whether I can sneak something in there to maybe pick off a CV or two. I've also brought in some mortars and start mortaring the infantry in these towns. Although I can't see them as yet, they're definitely in there. I'll start mortaring them. It does actually poke out some armoured trucks. I'm not sure what they are. I'm not sure what they are actually. But they soon run away once they see my anti-tank gun missiles coming towards them and get hammered by the mortars as well. And those mortars will continue firing on the buildings. Meanwhile in the middle, well, same as it was before pretty much. Got some nice tank up there at the front as well. He's got this area locked down. Smith shoots down that Sokol with a murder Roland 2. So it's not looking too bad. They are still in the lead and they are slowly getting the points up, so we do need to keep pushing forwards wherever we can. Smith is trying his best on the right, but it's looking pretty good in the middle at the moment. It's fairly well consolidated and hopefully they're going to push forward quite soon in the middle. Meanwhile, I'll split my two Lynx, sent one to Bravo and one over to Alpha. Unfortunately, Panzer has got a couple of flat guns there. Takes out that Lynx, no problem. So there's no way into Bravo. And this logistics truck's going over to resupply that track rapier. So I've got plenty of track rapiers, 80 GMs. I've got some Royal Marines sitting up there and some Scorpion light tanks and my mortars, which will continue hopefully in a moment to fire on the buildings. Now bring in yet more infantry. These are more Royal Marines in Pinzgauers and some reconnaissance in Pinzgauers. Now, what the guy did there, he put a CV in either here or in here, which effectively neutralized my reinforcement point in Charlie. A nice move. I will immediately, of course, start bombarding this tree line here, which is where I think it is. But it means my units have to come all the way away from over to here until I do remove that. Luckily, I've managed to get most of the units in that I wanted to before I start to push. I also moved my Lynx in from the left. Unfortunately, again, there's a bunch of stuff in this tree line here and takes that Lynx out. So there's no way through there, absolutely no way to sneak up on the left. I did try, but hey. On the right, Smith still pushing up. He's bringing a few Abrams up. Might want to bring up a little bit more anti-air maybe. A little bit short perhaps, but he's doing a decent job keeping them pinned. They have got Juliet now. So they've got Juliet and Bravo, and they've neutralised, well, and they've neutralised Charlie, so they're actually 4 points up on us, so they're getting a good lead now. So we really need to start pushing. Private Ryan is pushing. He's got some units into here. They're looking a bit thin on the ground here now with their infantry, and hopefully he can push forward a little bit further. And also Chip, whatever his name is. He's still got his tanks on the front there. He's got some nice anti-air. He's bringing up a Leopard 2A4 as well, so it looks like he's going to try and push into the hotel or flank hotel at least. Now, I've got all my Marines in position, pushing up to the SAS to see if we can get a look. forward these empty pin scales which the SAS came in. Again, use up some of their anti-tank shells. We get a look. They've got a bunch of infantry, 40 infantry in there. They've got 5 there, a bunch more infantry certainly back there. The mortars start raining in again. I also push some motor shields down which are engaging my Royal Marines, who deal with them very nicely indeed. And then I push my Marines forward. So I've got 40 Marines coming forward here, 40 in the centre and 40 on the right. Push forward my SAS as well. And my Scorpion light tanks are in support. And remember, I've got my track rapiers back here in case of an air assault. So they'll push in and engage anything in these buildings. Middle, looking similar, although Private Ryan's pushed right up into the front of these buildings now. So he is pushing forward. As you were with Smith, he's getting units up there, having a bit of a war of attrition in Juliet. The Royal Marines are engaging these Lake Schultzen, and the mortars are still firing in there. I'll bring in a TOW 2 here just to try and pick off, because I noticed they've got T-72s and all sorts appearing there. I do push forward this 80 GM Milans to try and take down some of these armoured trucks and even the tanks if they can get within range. A couple of MiGs coming in. MiG 17 there, from my Marines. Yeah, gets a few of them there, stuns the rest. Not sure if he went down or not. I think he's going down. He hasn't evac'd it. It's going to go down if he doesn't evac it. I bring my own bombers in, give them a touch of the own medicine here. A nice little bombing run there. A few units out. Don't think I lost any planes there. Scorpion light tanks just pushing forward. Marines trying to push forward. Mortars going in. And Lynx IPOs have got eyes on a couple of units which they should take out. These armoured cars here. Yeah. Together with the mortars they take them down. Or at least stun them up a little bit. So the battle continues there. Meanwhile, Private Ryan is... He's been napalm, but he's still pushing. He's pushing round the napalm into these little group of buildings here. Chipperson is trying to flank around to the right a little bit with his heavy tanks, while his infantry keep them busy in the middle. And Smith continues to try and push on the right. Their CV must be over here. Now they're still on +2 and they're over halfway to victory now. So things are getting a little bit shaky. We're starting to worry a little bit. Despite us pushing forward, we need to take out some of their CVs or we're going to end up losing. So the Marines keep pushing forward. I've got to get rid of all this lot in here before I can get to Bravo down. Now I do spot this CV with my Gazelle, although they're bringing in a couple of MiGs themselves. Now what those MiGs are after, they're after my artillery here. They're after my mortars, but they're fairly well protected. I just see them and pull them back. Just about in time. They get caught a little bit, but they stay alive. And both those MiGs go down. So he brings in another MiG there. I'm not sure where that MiG is going. I think maybe it's going for my Gazelle actually. And I've brought in some more SGM. So yeah, it's attacking the Gazelle, which is spying on that CV. So these Marines are doing really well. They're looking a bit battered now, so they need some logistics to smarten them up a little bit, but there's not a lot of resistance left here. Really I need a few tanks flanking. I do bring them in shortly, but I bring in a Jaguar and a couple of Tornado cluster bombers to try and take out this CV, and I push it up to the left. Unfortunately I do run over this flak, even though that doesn't really do anything, and then they turn to attack the CV. Now the Gazelle is running away from this MiG-17, however I have marked it so I know the area to attack, but it does bring out a fighter which takes down one of my planes, but the others get their bombs off and hits the area where the CV was and takes the CV. Okay, in the middle, Private Ryan pushing up. He's having a little bit of problem with some units in this town here, and they're putting some more units in the town as well. Chipper person is pushing around with his heavies. The 272s won't last long against those heavies, I'm sure. And Smith as well pushing. Now, we are now a point in the lead. The reason that's happened... Oh no, PACT are a point in the lead. They've lost Hotel, but they've still got Bravo, they've still got Juliet. So they're still a point in the lead. They're on 2/3 of the way to victory, but are being pushed back. So we could still do this if we keep pushing. Bringing in another Scorpion light tank, pushing up my ATGMs, bringing in some logistics, getting ready for another push. What I really need is tank support. I'm bringing in some more Marines as well, fresh lot of Marines there. I'm going to attack these Motorschützen, and the mortars will keep firing on those infantry. But the interesting stuff happening in the middle at the moment. The Leopard's still alive. I'm not sure if these two Leopards are still there. I think his Challenger might have been taken out. No, although there's another one coming up here. There's another Challenger coming up on the right there. He's also got some logistics to keep his Chaparral fueled up with most missiles. And Private Ryan's still trying to push forward just to get this little town. He's having as much trouble with that little town as I am with my little town over here. So finally I bring in some tanks, a couple of chieftains coming in. And in the meantime the Royal Marines are still bashing away at these infantry with the help of some light tanks and mortars. Seems to be a repetitive thing. Now they've got 70% of the points now, and they are still getting a point every few seconds. So we really need to do something. 24 minutes left. We have to give ourselves enough points to win the game in the time that's left, or destroy the enemy, of course. And there's a CV there. If he could take that CV out, I think that would make us level. Oh, and he does it, and it's this guy here that takes it out. So in fact we've jumped from, oh no, we're on +1 now. So Echo's down. No, Echo's not down. Echo has been neutralised because poor Ryan's put a CV on Echo. Hotel has been taken. They still have Juliet, and of course they still have Bravo, which I am trying to assault at the moment. Harrier going in there. Try and bomb the rest of these. Take a few more out and stun the rest. The tanks on site yet? Yep, the two chieftains are getting in on the action. So it's sort of as you were, but I am gradually creeping forward up there. Meanwhile, Chipperson is pushing round on the right hand side. They are bringing some tanks in to try and counter his flanking manoeuvre. And I guess this guy's a bit worried because his CV must be sitting somewhere in the corner. There's quite a lot of Abrams over here now, so he must be getting ready for a push as well. He's bringing in some more mortars. There's not a lot left in here. It's also just been napalmed and the Ravens flown over. Yeah, I think they'll soon fall as well. So I'm still pushing. He's still bringing in infantry to replace the infantry that he loses. Mortars still firing away, bringing in some more chieftains and a Challenger as well. Bombing with the old Harriers whenever I get the chance. And a bomb in there. Well, I did notice some infantry in there, I believe, during the game, so we're just going to bomb into there as well. The MiG-29 coming across. Where's that going? Oh, it's after my Harriers. But I think they get away this time. So Challengers, more anti-tank guns coming in. But it's looking not too bad now. We are now +2. We've still got 21 minutes left. We're on +2 and we have the momentum. Abrams are now moving in. He has neutralised this neutralised Juliet by putting his CV on and he's pushing forward with his Abrams now. Chip, he's pushing forward towards Delta, and it looks like Private Ryan has eliminated pretty much all the opposition in Echo, apart from a CV which must be sitting in one of these forested areas. I'm still pushing up, getting a bit short of infantry, but the tanks are pushing forward. 2 chieftains there, and they're going to soon be joined by a couple of strikers and a challenger, and there's another chieftain back there as well. So getting the tanks up, keeping the mortar fire going. Chip pushing into the base, and Private Ryan's starting to push forward through Echo, and the Abrams look as if they are heading towards taking out that CV in Juliet. Right, we're going to 2 times at this point, just to speed things up a little bit. So the challenges are in there. I've pushed my track rapiers up as well in case because when teams get desperate, they tend to fly in planes. We are now 3 points to the good. We've still got 20 minutes, so as long as we can hold this position, we will win, or even if we can push them right back, we might win a lot sooner. Push my SAS up, pushing my track rapiers up in case of air assaults. Strikers are getting some nice shots in on these armoured vehicles, and the Challengers doing a good job up there as well. Bringing in some more Royal Marines. This time I'm bringing them in choppers just to make it a little bit quicker, even though they're a little bit more expensive that way. Looks like Smith's Abrams attack has been pushed back by use of a lot of air here. It's got 4 more chieftains coming in down that way, but they still do have a CV on Juliet. Meanwhile, Private Ryan's getting some Marines up into their base now, up into this town just north, just near their base, and has managed to capture the fob. So their base is under threat. So it's all looking a lot better for us now than it did 10-15 minutes ago. We're on +3. On my side, they did start to send the air in. A nice napalm, of course, the napalm plane got destroyed, but it was a nice napalm strike on the town there just to try and slow me down a little bit, bringing in more Raw Marines in the links, push forward those ATGMs, and yeah, resupply those rapiers that have just used all their missiles up on the airstrike. Oh, well, the mortars have done a good job. They're damaged, they're almost out of ammo, but they've certainly served their purpose in this game. There's the CV, did I spot? Yes, I think he got that CV. Finally pushing in these chieftains as well, and Seppers, and Juliet is now ours. We're on +3. And Private Ryan is actually moving this CV onto their base to neutralise Delta and put another CV on Echo. So we're now on +4. Delta will soon be neutralised, which puts us on +5 now. So we're on +5, 15 minutes left, and we're catching their score pretty rapidly. The Marines finally managed to get full control of this small town, and basically my next job is to push across this open ground. So we'll bring in the anti-tank guns and then bring the tanks up a little bit further, I think, as well as pushing the Marines into the forest to try and push up into across this open ground a little bit. Okay, so now it's our turn to panic them, because we've got 70% of the points. We have now taken the lead. There's 14 minutes left. We're on +5. So we've really turned this game around now from losing after the first 10 minutes. We've turned it around, and now we are pretty much on the verge of victory, I would say. There's no coming back for them in this game anymore. So I'm dropping a few bombs around there, trying to get the CV. Private Ryan's helping me out as well with his air force. He sent the Raven over there, and then he's napalmed the town. Whether we got the CV or not, I'm not sure. It looks like we did. I pushed forward with my Marines now just to see him napalm it, so I pushed forward with the Marines to try and take advantage of the situation, push forward my Challengers, bring forward the other units, but they give up at that point, they leave the game. Good game, decent scores, okay stats. Really like that game because we pulled it round about halfway through and managed to win out in the end. So I hope you enjoyed this commentary. Please do comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.